We carry wisdom in our hands, legacy in our stride. We done cried 1,000 tears, but still we glow, still we thrive. We the backbone of the village, we the pillars, we the flame. We walk heavy with purpose, and we smile through the pain. But this joy, this joy is different, is here, sacred, gifted. Every room we step inside, the whole atmosphere is lifted. Oh, we are joyful matriarchs, standing strong, standing wise, with love in our hearts and that fire in our eyes. We're building the village, brick by brick, part by part, living loud, living bold. We're the joyful matriarchs. Yeah.
Joyful Matriarchs is a platform where mothers with 5 or more children share their wisdom, testimonies, challenges, and victories in motherhood, marriage, homemaking, faith, and womanhood. It's all about uplifting one another, restoring the dignity of biblical motherhood, and hearing the voices of women who lead their homes with love, intention, and joy. Shalom, beautiful sisters, and welcome back to Joyful Matriarchs. Today, within our category of culture, identity, and legacy, we have a guest whose life, lineage, and mission reflect strength, service, and generational truth. We are honored to welcome Princess Mdaiyah Efwata Shakora Suni Ali Yesariel, a wife, a mother of 5, a godmother, and truly a community mother to many. She describes herself as a servant to the people, doing the Creator's work through her hands, her heart, and her mission. She loves to cook, garden, and organize the gifts she uses to pour into her family and her community. She also comes from a powerful line of women connected to liberation work and the historical legacy of the Black Panther Party. Today, we're talking about healing the generational wounds Black matriarchs carry. The trauma, the silence, the strength, the inheritance, resilience, and the sacred responsibility of being a Black woman carrying both history and healing. Princess Mdaiyah, thank you for being here. How are you feeling today?
I feel blessed, honestly, honored, humbled. Anytime I get the opportunity to share, it's humbling. Um, and it's an honor to be able to share. We can't, if we hold on to information, that means we're not spreading the knowledge and we're not teaching. So I'm always honored to be able to share. And thank you for bringing me on your platform.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. As a wife, a mother, and a godmother, and a community mother, what does being a matriarch or a daughter in your family line mean to you personally?
Wow. Yeah. Well, what it means to me personally is the first thing it means is being present as much as possible with all the other many hats that I wear, right? So I've learned, I'm 48 now. I've been a mother for, in January, to be 20 years exactly. And I've learned in those 20 years that you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to make your mistakes. You're going to make choices that may not look good for everybody, not even for yourself, right? And those choices can cause your family to struggle a little harder than if you hadn't made that choice. So I've learned in those 20 years to be more considerate of the whole body of my family and not just myself. As a young mother, I made decisions that were, I won't say necessarily were selfish against my children. However, their consideration wasn't the whole realm of it because I wasn't always a wife. I was a single mother for many years with all my children actually, but my older 3 specifically. And so what being a mother has taught me, honestly, to begin there, because I was a mother before I was a wife, right? Being a mother has really taught me patience it's taught me a love that is almost undescribable, because you bring into a world, into this world particularly, a being that has no idea what's to come. And so it's truly taught me to be patient, and then to listen to them more, to kind of help me identify who they are. Because I remember as a child, and sometimes I felt lost, like my mom didn't see me, because she had quite a few children. Um, and so I decided as a mother that I would be more listening. I would try to do more listening with my children. And of course, it came when they got older, because as younger, when they're young, your job is to kind of like steer them in the matter of what you want, right? That you see for them. And so in the 20 years, I've learned to listen more, to be patient, and then not to put on them the expectations that were put on me, or even my expectations of them, to the degree that it doesn't allow them to be able to express who the creator already has them designed to be, because I don't know. And in many ways they do know. And I just looked and I spelled my name wrong on this screen, but it's all good, right? um, so yeah, so I think that for me as a mother, that's what I've learned. As a wife, wow. Um, and I'm just gonna speak on my marriage, my later marriage, because I've had a couple of marriages, just being transparent. But I don't think I was a wife, because in the matter that I am now, the
Right.
Most High, He shows you different things. He allows you to make choices, and I believe as a wife now, especially in my old, because I'm older in this wife line, right?
Hmm.
I'm learning also the partnership of marriage, the true duty of being a wife to a man. That's what I had to realize too. I will say prior, it wasn't, they weren't men in the sense of handling their business, taking care of the household. I was definitely the breadwinner in those situations. And so it wasn't balanced, and it was more pressure on me, as a woman, to hold all that together, and including holding up a man. And listen, sisters, if that's your job, I'm not beating anybody up about it. But for me, that did not strengthen me. It actually weakened me. It caused me to become somebody that I never wanted to become. And so in this part of my life, the Most High has blessed me in a marriage where I can be that, a wife. I can be soft, with my husband. Um, I can allow him to be the leader, the protector, the guide, the father figure that needs to be for my children. um, I can actually look and sit at his feet, and gain knowledge and gain direction, and not question that direction, because it's coming from a man who fears the creator immensely, right? And so for me, being a wife has been very soft, because I think I came from a very hardcore family, as you mentioned earlier. The women in my family was warriors, and I'm still a warrior, but I've been able to kind of like harness in that soft side of me, where I'm able to kind of like um, see what he needs, in his times, because he's out there working. Being able to just acknowledge what he needs more than trying to figure out, okay, well, what do I do? I need to go out there and be with him, build that fence with him. Do I need to, not that it can't be done or it hasn't been done, but I don't have to. And so learning that has definitely humbled me and allowed me to actually find my womanhood in a different way I've never been able to find it. And so I appreciate that part of this part of my life, and being a wife to my husband. Um, I think that answered that.
I think so too. I don't even remember the question, but I think you answered it. That was, you said a mouthful. You said a whole lot. I wanted to go back to the part where you said being present and considerate of the whole family.
Yeah.
Being present, especially with a house full, I mean, a
Yes.
house literal full of
Yes.
children, is very exhausting. It's very hard to do, but
Hmm.
it's very necessary. I realize when I'm present, sometimes I can not be present.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to be present. You have to be aware of your
Yes.
presence. Sometimes I think we get so overwhelmed and overstimulated that we just tune. I know I do. I tune out sometimes my
Hmm.
children. I start I get used to ignoring them because
Yeah.
every time I turn around, someone's
Yeah.
touching me, someone needs something, someone wants something, someone's
Yeah.
calling me, like back to back to back. Mommy, can I? Mommy, can I?
Yeah.
Like my head is spinning, turning back to back, back to back. What do you want from me? So being present is very important. Life
Yeah.
e- is so much easier when you're present.
Hmm.
It's easier than it's not. I'm not gonna say it's completely easy, but it's better when I'm present. Things are um, move smoother. My husband's not as stressed out.
Right.
Everybody works together. When everybody works together, it runs well. Um,
Yes.
but other than that, when I'm when I'm not present, as I have to admit, sometimes I'm, and more times than others, I'm not present because we have. Sometimes I'm not well. I'm just overwhelmed,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
just don't want to.
To be there, to be in it. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
take me, beat me up, Scotty.
Yeah. And that's real. You know what I'm saying? On everything what you just said is real. Sometimes you just don't want to be there. And it's not a reflection to be like it's a bad mom. You know, I hear people trying to say that. I'm like, "No, you're human and you have a right to feel any way you feel. It's how you act on that." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And taking a break, being like, "Okay, husband or older children, I need 10 minutes or I
Right.
need 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is. I need this, but I have left his food, his diapers, his
Every
milk,
man for
his
himself.
every right, his everything you need. But I need to walk away for a minute to kind of like digress because it's a
Mhm.
job. It's a 24-hour, 48 hours, 72-hour, whatever you want. It's an all day, every minute, second job.
Right. And I have to say, I have to commend my husband because over the years, I mean, he's been there from
Hmm.
day one to day, whatever day this is. He's really
Hmm.
good at telling them, leave my wife alone.
I love it. I love
Get away from my wife. Don't talk to my
right,
wife.
right. She ain't your mother right now. That's my wife. You know?
Get off her lap.
Right. Yeah. See, I
And
love that. Yeah.
he's really good at that, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that. Sometimes I don't show it because I just be
Yeah.
I was just
In the
like
moment. Yeah.
yeah, in the moment. Like these kids be
Yeah.
touching me all day. They've been crying all day. They've been
Right.
whining all day. They won't stop eating.
Right. Somebody come get their children now.
Right. Right. And being a mother also teaches you patience, right? You mentioned
Mm,
that being it teaches you patience. We think a lot of
yeah.
times that we're teaching these children, but they're teaching us.
What?
Man, and no, that is there a teenager in here? Because yeah, there is. Always is. They
Boy.
always think they're teaching us something,
Yep.
right? They think they know more than we do.
Yes.
In some instances, they do, and
They
they don't
do.
even know that they're teaching us.
Yeah.
As people, when people see us walking outside, we have the kids all walking in line formation, oldest to youngest.
Right.
People, your children are so well behaved. Oh, you have the patience of a saint. Or you don't see us at home.
Right. The work it took to get there. Okay.
You don't see us at home. You don't know these children.
Right.
People are like, they're so well
Exactly.
behaved. You
They're
don't know these
fake.
people. They're faking
Right.
it.
Right. Yo, I just told a sister today, children will, man, when they with somebody else or in the public, they will become everything that you want. But as soon as
Uh-huh.
you go home, they like, up, doors closed, back to
And it's
normal.
because they're safe, right? They
Yeah,
feel safe.
right.
It's their
Yep.
safe place. And
Yep.
it says, what is it? Is home is the battlefield.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
where you get all your learning and all your training, and
All of it.
you get to unmask at home. And
Exactly.
um like people say, people, you're not like that behind closed doors. Well, duh.
Right. I don't have to be like that. That's the
Right.
thing. I can be exactly as I want to be in my
All right.
house
I'm
and
at home. We're
comfortable.
learning, right?
Mhm.
We are able to be vulnerable with the people we love.
Yes.
That doesn't mean mistreat the people that you
Right.
love. That
True.
doesn't mean take advantage or abuse them. Sometimes I think these kids are abusive. I think they are, like, they know how much and how far they can go
Right.
and how far they can get away with, and they push the limits. They push
Yes.
them,
Of course.
push the limits,
But
and
that's a testament to what you just said, though. It's a battlefield, right? So they
hmm
have to push the limits, and it's best that they push the limits with us because we're gonna love them through those limits. But
right,
if they go out there pushing them limits, they don't love them. They don't even like them. So imagine, what they're gonna get from that. At least with us, we can let them know, okay, there's boundaries to this relationship we have as parent and child, mother and son, mother and daughter, father, all that, right?
right,
So yes, push your limits. I want you to. My parents taught us, speak, speak up, say what it is. But in the same breath, when you speaking, be
be
know the
respectful,
boundaries of
right.
respect.
That
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
sometimes I rue the day we taught these children to
Yep.
speak up for
Yeah.
themselves,
Mhm.
because are you smart mouthing me? No, they're not
Right.
smart mouthing me.
Yeah.
But they're speaking like, the
Yeah.
way we were raised was
Yeah.
children are to be seen and not heard.
Not yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that.
And I know you were raised differently, but we were raised from my grandparents. My parents
Mhm.
were old Southern, down
Right.
south slave mentality. Children
Mm,
ought to be seen and not heard. Shut your
mm.
mouth, nigga. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I had some family that believed that, you
Right.
know.
So I
Hmm.
never wanted my children to be like that,
Yeah.
because so many things happened to us
Yep.
and we weren't able to speak about it,
Yep.
right? We weren't even
Yep.
be able to bring it to anyone. I remember telling my mother about something that happened to me in
Mm.
our home by one of our relatives, and her telling me, I'm not a hostage. I'm not a hostage to my path, Amira.
What?
And right. So we weren't able to speak up, and that, kind of shapes, and your
Yeah.
upbringing shapes the way you train and you raise your
Yeah.
children. And
It does.
sometimes it's good, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's too much,
Yeah.
right? My issue is finding the balance between
Hmm.
teaching them to think for themselves, teaching them to speak up,
Yeah.
and allowing them to um run
Hmm.
all over me and get away
Right.
with
Yeah.
whatever.
No, you're right. And that is a hard that's a hard factor of the balance of it, because like we know there's no what people like to say, there's no blueprint, there's no handbook to this process of motherhood. We get to look back and say, oh, this is my mom did, or my grandmother, or our foremothers did. But truly, you know what I mean, like every child is different. Sorry. Every child is different. Every when we look at the experience of what they're experiencing is different. So it's like now we got to be like, okay, what can I take from what my mom did, or my grandmother, or my aunt, and utilize it, but also still give my children that power, you know, to be
Right.
able to say, you know what, no, I'm not comfortable with doing that, mom or dad or Ima Abba, but also like because that's the big thing, like we're taught by so many different people different ways to be. I know for me, my aunt would be like, oh, don't grow up to be independent. No, she grow up and be an independent woman. And I always imagine, no, I don't want to be that, because then that means I'm gonna be alone because I'm looking at you and you don't have no. And I want a
Right.
husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm
And
looking
kids
like
are
I
kids
don't
are
know.
smart. Kids are smart. And in that instance, we don't give them enough credit for their skills
Yeah,
in noticing and being able to see things, because for you to be a child and growing up and saying, independent woman, auntie, you ain't got no man.
right. Right.
Like, no, that's not gonna be me. And as for me growing up, watching my grandparents and my aunt and my mother and the way they treated they were in relationships and marriages long term, like forever,
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. But the way they treated the men in in their lives was despicable. And
Yeah.
I always say in my mind, like, I would never treat a man like that.
Right.
And so the things that you say you'll never do, of course, those are the areas you're tested in.
Yep.
And those are the things that Yahuwah brings to the forefront so he can get them out of you, so he can reveal them. It's in you. You need to heal that trauma. You need to get rid of that situation
Yeah.
you got on there, because that's what we seen. That's what we
Yeah.
grew up seeing. Um we don't have examples of good, strong, righteous um marriages or um parentshoods or any of that, even through the movements and everything, the during the 60s and 70s and all that, it was drug ridden, drug infested, and all of that. And
Right.
it's just any good thing that we tried to do is always tarnished or infiltrated by something. Right. So, with that being said, let's bring me to my next question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Black matriarchs often carry wounds silently, right? Fear loss, displacement, and trauma. Right. What generational wounds did you notice within your family line?
Mm. Um, generational wounds that I noticed in my family line was absentees of a father. Um,
Mm,
I knew my grandfather very well from a very young age, but he wasn't there to raise his children. You know,
mhm.
so I saw
Same.
my mom struggle with her father-daughter relationship, but also love the relationship that we had with her father, even though she didn't have it young. She knew who her father was, and he was around, often at different times, but he didn't live in the house. He didn't participate in her rearing up to the degree that a father should. But so what I saw with that, what that taught me though, honestly, and it helped me actually in my life now. My mother didn't interfere with that either, like she was happy that we got a lot of what she didn't, and then she was happy that she was able to get what she was getting in her older age, to have her father there. She took care of her father till his last breath. He passed away in our house. I was a teenager.
Wow.
um, to have her father be the one who brought her into the Black Power movement. So I think for my mom, I think she helped to heal that wound in so many ways, or to at least guide us that if, because we didn't know it at the time, if we ever became single mothers, right? How to navigate that without your children suffering in the process. I can say my grandmother even did a great job with my aunt and my mother, because she didn't cause them to hate their father. She didn't berate their father in front of them. And then even when they were together, when my grandfather would be in the same space as my grandmother at times, right? We, as even as the grandchildren, we knew they weren't together, but there was no arguing between them, no beefing, no, well, I did this and I did that, none of that. It was just family, it was just love. So I think seeing that truly in my life, when I, became a single mother, not something that I thought I would ever be, but when I became a single mother, I started to reflect on what I was shown from my grandmother, because I had my father in my life all the time, outside of the times he was, on the run or in prison. But so for me, with my children, I did the same as my grandmother. I didn't talk down on their fathers. I still don't to this day, and they're grown, right? I don't talk down on their fathers, not to the degree that it's berating them. I teach my children to still respect their fathers, regardless of what they may have not done or not done in their lives as children, and to forgive, because that's all we have. You know what I mean? Just hold a space for forgiveness and love. Like, if we're gonna hold space for hate and not forgiving, we're blocking our blessings. So I try to teach my children that, like, yeah, you didn't ask for this, neither did I, but guess what? Look at where we are. Look how blessed we are. Look what the Creator is doing for us. So if the Creator is doing that for us, we got to keep opening our heart for those blessings by forgiving, opening yourself up for saying, hey, we can communicate. Now we're older. Communicate with your father. Let them know what disappointed you. So that helps to heal those wounds when you're able to openly communicate. And I think that was something my mother taught us too, because she openly communicated with her father. And I saw that my aunts, who were his children, because my grandfather had 14 children by 7 different women. Not all of them I've seen do this, but the ones that I have seen, the few, they respected him, they loved him, and they communicated and they had those conversations. So I think seeing that, you know, uh, helped, so that me being a single mother I didn't carry those wounds to that degree, to my children. And now my children are at a place where they're like, they have a whole list of what they want before they even, before they get married, before they have children, because they don't want to continue to carry on that tradition of single womanhood. And they want to find a marriage that is long lasting. My parents were married physically for 38 years until my mom passed. And then when my dad passed, it was 48 years. We still count them as being married. And so, having those intertwined, I guess, visuals has helped to also navigate healing of those wounds and not perpetuating those same stories that America tries to perpetuate when you are a single mom, that you're angry, that you're broken down, that you're, in despair. You don't have to be all those things. We're so much more from that, but that's what they have labeled us as. And a lot of times some of us has fallen into those labels.
Powerful. So powerful. Girl, you powerful. Okay. How did the political climate your family lived through affect the women emotionally, spiritually, and culturally?
Wow. uh mm. Spiritually, it affected, I believe, during that time, because spirituality was not at the forefront. When I reflect and I think about growing up, I mean, I grew up Muslim, but in the community of Black Power movement, yeah, you were either Muslim, but it wasn't a practice of Muslim. Like, I wasn't amongst my cub cousins and movement cousins like, hey, Salaam Alaikum, It was
I
just like
know.
we was like Black Power, Black, it was all
I,
that. That was our religion. And
I ain't
for
gonna
me,
tell you the chant my daddy used to teach us. There's little Muslim
it's
kids walking down the streets of Newark, New Jersey. We
right.
might get flagged for that.
Okay, look, we don't want to get flagged.
No.
So for I think during that point, I would say spirituality wasn't at the forefront. However, emotionally, wow, I can honestly say I never saw my mother cry about movement work. I mean, I saw her cry when my grandfather passed, when somebody passed. But I never saw my auntie Afeni, my mom. Like, I never saw them when I was in the midst of them. I never saw the soft side of them, which is weird, because she's my mother, right? So I've seen her in so many ways. But when it comes to that emotional side, like my mom was not a soft woman, very hardcore, hard on us. My father was more of the nurturer, with us, and I knew my mother loved us, but it wasn't shown in the physical form. And I think it was because of one, how she did grow up, because my grandmother was the same, right? The other one, I believe it's because of the climate of her life at the time. I mean, my mom was at the forefront of war stories, of battling police and all these different things on the run, trying to protect us. So what I felt emotionally, what she taught me though, emotionally, um, and I still struggle with it because my children tell me too, like you're not always soft. And I know I'm not. Um, and I know it came from that too. So that's something that I'm still working on, you know. But I think what my mom taught me though with her emotions was to use it to be stronger in the areas that you need to be strong in that moment. And that's what I saw. I saw my mother always, no matter what was happening, had her head held high, dressed to the T, on point, time management. Well, in the younger days, in the older days, time was nothing to her. But she taught me so many disciplines of that through her emotion. And then culturally, wow. Culturally, it was just like it was this there was this love that never goes away. Like when I say cub cousin, like I seriously think about them as my cousins. It's no, we don't share blood, but we share blood in the streets. We share blood in different ways that nobody else would ever be able to share with us. And so culturally, we became a family that, even in some ways, in all honesty, outweighs your blood family.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
Dope. Blood. What does it say? Blood is thicker
Blood
than
in,
water.
blood. Oh, yep.
Blood in, blood out.
Yep, yep. That's what we say. My cousin Fred, Fred Hampton Jr., he likes to say, whenever we all together, he always likes to say, we garnered our blood in the streets, through the movement, through the wars. Our blood is thicker because of the tears and the fights and and the scars that we've gained together. Because people are always asking, how are y'all cousins? And that's his explanation. He was like, that's how we cousins. And we cousins, it don't matter about that other part of it. This is how we blood cousins. And he stands on it.
We're blood cousins. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
we are.
Oh, we
We are
are.
blood cousins.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Naturally, we are, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Naturally, we're blood cousins.
Hmm.
And so, yeah. This
Yeah.
is this is this is awesome. Like this is talking
Thank
to
you.
you. I feel like I'm part of the whole movement. Like let's go. Like
Yeah.
you got to see it in
Yeah.
the you got to see it like
Hmm.
right at the forefront where I've only heard stories. Most
Hmm.
people has only heard stories of like the Black
Right.
Panther Party and all of that, but you got to be right there in it. I think my father did too, because my grandmother, but I
Hmm.
was by the time my grandmother and everyone was by the time I was born, everyone was calming down. It was
Right.
that 80
It was like
80
over.
late, yeah, it was
Hmm.
over. They were all,
Well, on that
washed up
level.
now, or yeah, on
Hmm.
that level, like, they were all calming down. My grandma passed away in '91, I think,
Okay.
and I only had 3 years with her.
Hmm. Okay.
3 so
Yeah.
3 or 4
Yeah.
years with her. So I don't really know, but you got to see it right there in the
Hmm.
forefront. This is cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So, to me, but I'm thinking it's cool, but you probably like, "Girl, you don't know the things I've seen, the things we went through."
Yeah.
So, okay. As a mother of five and a community mother, where did you begin to recognize generational wounds showing up in your womanhood or your motherhood?
Wow. Um, hmm. I recognize it when I could see that I'm more involved in community than in my house, if that makes
Mm, that
sense.
makes perfect
Um,
sense.
yeah,
Yes.
like I could be so in, and my children would tell me at times like, "Ma, like I need you to da 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 da," and I'm like, "Oh, I got to do." They was like, "No, I need you to," and then I got to sit and be like, "Oh, wait a minute, let me think," because I know how that felt. I know what it
Mhm.
felt like to be dragged to meetings or to marches or to demonstrations, whatever it was. But you just wanted a moment with your mom, or you wanted her to help you with your science project or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Be there for your prom, like all type of stuff that I could say that, yeah, my mother wasn't there because she was a woman of the movement. Like that was her love. That was her mission for life, right? And
Mhm.
so when I catch myself or when my children even mention it, I kind of I not even kind of I do I fall back, not from doing the work, but I try I do my best to, and I do my best. It don't always work, but to try to reorganize my time, because it is difficult. One is difficult too because my children are older at this point. When they were younger, and I know that I drag them to stuff because they'll tell me today, like people know them that they don't remember, just like me, right? Because I was, hey, we got to go to this demonstration, we got to go to this meeting, y'all. It was a point in my
Mhm.
life when I was in organizations, like really deep in it, like how my parents were. But then I started to fall back as my children got older and realizing, okay, yo, I can't live off of going to these meetings. I got to get a steady job. I got to do this. I got to do that. Right.
Right.
Um, and so once I noticed that, even within myself noticing things, I was like, okay, I have to figure out what I can give up and feel comfortable being a daughter of a revolutionaries in this movement and not feel like I'm walking away from the movement, but doing what I'm supposed to do too and being a mother. It was a hard call. It was on seriously. These questions is really having me think about this stuff, right? But it was a hard call because I was like, dang, how do I let the people down, but I don't want to let my children down. I
Right.
need to be there for them because one, I'm their mom and I'm the only consistent parent they have. So, once they got to a certain, I started to balance it. I feel like I did. I feel like now I'm more community because my children are older. But even now they'll be like, "Mom, we need you to do this or that." I'm like, "Okay." So I do. I even now I'll tell them, "Okay, I do have this. So let me see how I can work around it." But this is my job, y'all, And as I'm getting older, I realize it is my job. And I love my children. I've done everything I can and I'm going to still continue to do it cuz I'm a mother till I die basically, right? Um and um and then part of it, honestly, Amira, is I brought my children into the community in ways. Like if I'm doing something that's community and I know my children can handle helping me, I bring them into the fold. So then that gives us time to work together and to build together and to be in each other's lives. So I found ways to kind of like intertwine it where it's not boring for them, but they're also learning the work without me actually telling them that they're learning the work, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, like cutting my kids um bread into cutting their sandwich in two and giving them
Mhm.
two pieces and making them think they got two instead of one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Or avoid it. Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so let's see. What do you want younger black women to understand about inherited trauma and inherited power?
Wow.
Because you have both. You have inherited trauma
Yeah.
and you
And
also
power.
have inherited power.
Ooh, yeah, these questions. Deep, deep, deep. I don't think I've ever even answered some of these questions in real life.
I brought the work for you, Princess Mdaiyah.
Ooh, wow. What do I want younger sisters to understand? Well, first with generational trauma. Is that the question? Generational? Um,
I read it again. What do you
mhm.
want younger Black women or younger sisters, younger mothers to understand about inherited
And
trauma, and inherited power?
okay. All right. Inherited is the word. Inherited trauma. Honestly, my daughter, who is 27 now, she taught me actually about inherited trauma. She's taught me so much, honestly. She taught me it because she speaks of it so much now in her young life of how she's working on her inherited trauma because she's watched me, my sisters, her grandmother, her great grandmother walk with this trauma of our lives. And so I would say for the younger generation, and y'all, I'm young, I'm only 48, but I am older, obviously, because I'm feeling a little older. I'm a yelder, I guess, almost. Um,
Elder.
to 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 recognize it, identify it, right? And then do your work to help so that it's not continuously inherited. And then and it's not going to be easy. I will guarantee that. Like my daughter goes through different things. However, find what you feel like you need to focus on because inherited trauma can be really huge. But see what the trauma is directly impacting your life to either impede your growth, your motherhood mission, your being a wife, being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is that you're pushing to be in life. Identifying how that inherited trauma is impeding on that will help you to really heal and not carry on that trauma. That'll be one trauma that's knocked off the box of what you're now going to give to the next generation. And then when identifying that, wow. Yes, identifying that will also help you to teach your daughters how to identify, and you'll be able to see certain things in them early on to say, you know what? I see that trauma in them because I had it in me. So now I can start to work on them young. Or even if it's not your daughter, your niece, your cousin down the block, the girl down the block, the family down the block, however it is you see to be able to help. I think that's what I would say on that level. Now, inherited power, wow, they're both so heavy, right? Inherited power is very wow. Mm. It can be so tricky because it's massful because you have this power, and I want to say it in a way because I love unions, I love families, I love marriages, but learning how to utilize your inherited power to enhance your ability to be the greatest woman you could be, the greatest mother, the greatest daughter, the greatest leader, teacher, doctor, whatever your career path is, or whatever. And then the other side of it is your husband, right? If you're married, everybody's not married, but if you're married or you're striving to be married, using that inherited power to enhance his vision because that's your job, honestly, right? I know everybody don't agree, but that's what I've come to understand. So if your husband has a vision to build a hospital, and you have the power in you to organize, to be his financial backer, his liaison, all these different things. Those are powers that you have in you. then go to school and get educated on those things, or go work for somebody, get the experience, build the network, so that all that power that you have in you will help to enhance his life, which will ultimately enhance your life. Because as your husband grows in his stance of power and leadership, you grow in that same way. So I would say find a way to utilize your power in the most righteous way possible. If you're a single mom, a single mother, that power that you have to even be a single mother is immense, right? So find what it is that's helping you to stay strong in that. If okay, I'm a single mom, but I know I could do this. So then put that power into that. And then show your children that you have that power. It's within you. Sometimes it's not tangible. It's just an energy that's there. So you just have to hone into it. If any of that makes sense. That's just what came off my head.
Very powerful. Very good. Very good. I'm over here taking notes because I'm like, okay. I got a whole document over here that say things I learned from Princess
Oh
Mdaiyah.
my God. Look, I need to see that.
But okay, so if you could speak to older matriarchs everywhere, what would you
Mm,
tell them about the wounds that they carry?
wow. If I could speak to older matriarchs, well, I will speak to them. Release it, you know, release it and understand that as you carry those wounds, they carry through your womb. So your child and children, coming after and after, carry a part of those wounds. And I think also to them, to say that, you're forgiven, because a lot of times they feel like they don't feel enough. So they hold on to those wounds because they feel like that's the only thing they have. But you're forgiven, and that it's like I said, it's okay to release it. It's okay to say that these wounds don't define me. I define these wounds. I decide how this wound will affect my life. I just thinking about this makes me really, really reflect on my mother and all my aunts in the movement who have just passed away, of all the wounds that they carried into death that they never got to release. And I think about now, like, how did they feel? It had to be so heavy to carry wounds that they never felt like they could release because the world wanted them to be strong. I read something yesterday, it was today or yesterday, about Black women have been experienced on so much. And because we have a strength within us that we could withstand pain in ways that nobody else can, that we're
Mm-hmm.
now put on this pedestal to be this pillar of strength, even in
Mm-hmm.
the deepest hurts of our lives. And I think for our matriarchs, going all the way back to however far we can go back, that was something that was never, they were never told that it was okay
Mm-hmm.
to release and heal those wounds. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That right there. That's yeah. They experimented on us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we can't feel pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can. I don't know why they have that misconception of Black
Right,
women as if we don't feel pain
right.
is our tolerance is a lot higher than any other woman on the face of the earth. We feel too.
Yeah. Yep.
We feel hard too. I don't think any other, and I can have this misconception myself. I don't think any woman, other woman on the face of this earth love as hard as we do,
Right.
or care, or have the mothering um,
Mm, right.
spirit in
As we
them
do.
as
Yep.
we do.
Yep.
Like it to a lot of us, most of us, it comes natural. Some of us we get
Yeah.
caught by the wayside. I don't know what's wrong with some people.
Yeah.
Some people deserve to be mothers,
Yeah.
and
I
you know who
agree.
those.
I agree.
But it comes naturally to
Yeah.
us. Like it never was a question in my mind of whether I would be able to mother my child. Like
Mm-hmm.
when he, of course, when when you're having your first child, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
Right.
I don't know. But when he was born, it was like a natural instinct, like a natural mind that came to me. Oh, I'm going to nurse this baby, and it was no one had to show me how to do it. No one
Right.
had to come in and tell me how to feed my baby or how
Right.
to change his
Mm,
diaper or how to answer when
right.
he calls or how
Mm-hmm.
to one one night I was in school. I was going to college, Essex County College.
Mm,
And something happened where my son he wasn't able to go to daycare the next morning.
mm,
And so I had him spend the night at a friend's house. And she was babysitting. This is the last time I left my baby with anyone ever
mm,
when after this, besides my sister. But
mm-hmm.
she spent the night at this lady's house who was supposed to be his godmother. And around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I heard my baby screaming. And I sat
Mm,
up and I said, the baby's crying. I was tapping my husband. I was like, the baby's crying. Can you get the baby? And he's like, the baby's not here. And I could
wow.
hear my baby screaming. I could hear my
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
And my baby was across town. He
Mm,
was across town. He was in one, like, he was like north kind of, and we were far apart.
right.
And I
Mm,
heard, what'd you say, man? Irvington. Were we in Irvington still? No, I think we had moved to Grove Street by then. Cause I went downstairs. Yep. Is Grove Street still Irvington? I don't know. We were far away, but I heard my baby screaming, and my
mm-hmm.
husband's back to sleep. The baby's fine. The baby's with is at such and such house. First thing in
Mm-hmm.
the morning, I got up, got dressed to go to school. I went
Mm,
downstairs. We didn't have cell phones at the time. Cell
right.
phones
Right.
hadn't got real big. This is when we were all still using
Mm-hmm.
BlackBerries and stuff,
Right.
but they weren't.
Keepers
This
and
is like
stuff.
the event of smartphones. I think we got our
Mm-hmm.
first smartphone a couple days after that.
Mm,
And I went downstairs. There was a payphone downstairs outside of my
mm,
building, and
right.
I called her and I was like, "How's the baby?" And she said, "Girl, your baby been screaming since 3 o'clock this morning. Come and get him."
Oh, wow. Ooh,
I
that
was
was
like,
that
"I'm on
much
my way."
energy. Right.
And when I
Wow.
got there, this girl had my baby, my newborn baby, sitting
Mm.
outside in the rain. I was like, never, ever, ever, ever again.
Oh
Never,
my
ever
God.
again. Had him
Wa-
in his car seat, packed up, sitting out in the rain.
Wow.
I grabbed my baby. I didn't even speak to her. I didn't say anything. I
Right.
just grabbed my baby and just left and went home. Actually,
Yeah.
I took him to class with me. I have
Mm-hmm.
pictures of him in class with me. I had set him. I took him to class with me, and I told
Yeah.
my teacher, I was like, "It is what
Right.
it is."
Exactly. We both about to be in college.
We both, yep, and we both went to college.
Right.
All the time I took him to class with me because I don't know what happened with the daycare, but
Yeah.
I kept taking him to class with me, and the teacher
Wow.
ain't say nothing. He just sat there in that
Yeah.
car seat.
That's why he's so
But
brilliant. He was taking college courses as an infant.
as an infant,
Like he already ahead of the game. Shoot.
Yeah, so no one had to tell me that. It
Mm,
came naturally, even with
yeah.
my upbringing and things.
Mm-hmm.
It it comes natural to us. So for
Yeah.
people to treat us like animals, most animals abandon their children.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We don't. Right.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't. We can't
Yep.
struggle no more with them babies.
Sure will. Yep.
Okay. So let's see. We're coming up to the last questions because we're coming up on our hour.
Mm-hmm.
Um where am I going? Okay. What legacy do you hope to leave for your children, godchildren, and a community that sees you as a mother?
Uh. Wow. I feel like I'm working on it now. Right. In the present job position that the Creator has me in, married to my husband Prince Kazaradar. He had a vision of a school long before we met each other. Long before we met each other. And so when we met, though, when we courted, he, told me about all these things he wanted to do. And I was just like, wow. One, I had never met an Israelite man who actually believed in kind of what I believed in growing up. Most Israelites that I had met talked so down about the Black Power movement.
Hmm.
So that was the first thing that, was like, okay, light bulb. And so as he continued talking about his visions, I was like, okay, I could do that. I always wanted to live on land. Yeah, I want to do that. But the only thing he talked about that I was not feeling to do myself with my hands, right, was running a school. I say, yeah, no, I'm good. And I tell my children this too, so they know if they hear this, they ain't gonna be shocked. I didn't even want children. So I was
Me
like,
neither.
no, I don't want to teach a bunch of children, okay? Like, dang, I had children, now I got to teach them. So I was like, oh gosh. So, we went through the whole, he said, well, at least help with the business side of it, put it together, blah, blah. I was like, I'll work with that. But things happen, and now presently I'm the co-founder with him and the principal. And I can
Hmm.
tell
And
you, it
sometimes, and
is,
sometimes to teacher.
and sometimes substitute teacher, okay? And if we had a physical building, which, well, actually, if we had a physical school, probably the cook, the janitor, all the things, right? But no, honestly, this has been one of the most, outside of being a mother, and these are the two things that I did not even want, right? Outside of being a mother, doing this job has been one of the most fulfilling jobs, and being a wife, of course, but one of the most fulfilling jobs. And so, for what I see for my children, godchildren, community children, is to, yeah, embrace whatever the Most High brings to you. Pray about it, ask for His guidance, and look at the best side of it. Don't walk into it looking negative about it. I will honestly say, when we first, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Oh, we got a school. Oh Lord, this is going to be so much. Um, but as I started to grow into this, and this is our fifth year, like maybe like honestly 2.5 years ago, I flipped my whole mindset about it and started looking at all the great things that are coming from this, like teaching children, watching children come from being a 4-year-old can't read or a 3-year-old can't read to now an 8-year-old who's reading and writing books, who they go from drawing stick people to drawing portraits that can be sold at auctions. You know what I'm saying? So watching that, and that's also likening to motherhood, because it's like I look at all these children that are in our school as my children, and so it motivates me every morning to get up, to play the affirmations, the music, um And then just to see them smile and just to hear them want to share, like, guess what I did, Princess Mdaiyah, or this is what we did, or and then to see them communicate with one another and find their joy in each other, you know. And on the other side of it, I'm very disciplinarian. You know, I'm gonna put my foot down when I have to. And when it comes to children, you have to. So I think for me, the legacy would be to look at what's being built and build on it to the best of their ability. They don't have to become me. They don't have to do exactly what I did. I never want anybody to mimic anything, but to make it greater. So take a hold on it. And that's how I feel like I've done with the legacy that's been left in my hands. You know, when I look at what the work of the Black Panther Party with the breakfast program, the WIC program, in the public school systems, in the projects, with the policing of the community, all the work that a lot of us children of that movement and children not of the movement are doing now, it's just basically building on that legacy. So for me, this school is just a next level of that legacy, right? And so for me, for those who will come after me, I want them to build upon the legacies, carry it on, you know, in the way that they see fit, best fit, in the most righteous, most fair, most balanced, most revolutionary, like all those things come into play with it. And then always put the creator first in everything that they're doing, you know, in everything. Even before I knew I was a Israelite, the daughter of the creator, I would tell my children, the creator, I didn't know his name at that time, but he comes before everything. And so that's what I feel like is the major part of the legacy, is understanding that the creator is first, and through him, through placing your trust in him and all that, everything that you do will be manifested into greatness.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing not just your story, but your heart, Princess Mdaiyah.
You're
Hearing
welcome.
hearing how you've healed, how you've grown and reclaimed the history as a
Mhm.
Black matriarch, mother, godmother, and a servant of the people is a blessing to us all.
Toda Toda.
Sisters, sisters, this is why Joyful Matriarchs exists, to remind us that our stories matter, our wounds matter, and our healing matters. Um, Again, Princess Mdaiyah, thank you again for pouring into us today. This has been another powerful conversation with another powerful woman. I pray you carry today's wisdom into your homes, into your marriages, your motherhood, and your personal walk. Remember, joy is a choice. Healing is a journey. And you, sis, you are a matriarch chosen for this season. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll meet you again on the next episode of Joyful
We the
Matriarch.
backbone of the village. We the pillars, we the flame. We walk heavy with purpose, and we smile through the pain. But this joy, this joy is different. Is here, sacred, gifted.